Four Mountain Wolves by Silka is an excellent example of the work that has emerged from the recent Native American literary renaissance. The poem makes use of an innovative combination of modernist free verse and traditional American Indian chant forms. Free verse, which was developed as a poetic style in the 1800s and pioneered by such figures as Walt Whitman, was an attempt to allow the poet's emotions to drive the length and form of a line of poetry. Let's see the summary of the poem. In the first section of the poem, the narrator is observing a mist wolf who is traveling to the southwest over deep snow crust. We hear a howl, "Ow," but are not sure whether it is the howl of the wolf or of the narrator. The wolf treks through the fog and the cold. All the deer have gone, the narrator tells us, and the wild turkey are all flown away. This wolf is looking for food. The second section of the poem shows us a swirling snow wolf. This wolf is not hungry like its predecessor. Rather, he is an image of cosmic violence, spinning the yellow-eyed wind on blue lake stars, Orion, Saturn. The narrator characterizes this wolf with very violent imagery, commanding it to tear the heart from the silence, rip the tongue from the darkness. This wolf seems to represent the violence and nature and the ways that nature has to remind us of the real physical world when we are contemplating the infinite. The third section presents us with two wolves. One mountain white mist wolf is described only in terms of his snowy frozen fur and the steam rising from his panting mouth, while the second, a grey fog wolf, is simply silent, swift and wet. This wolf has come a long way and has traveled for years on its way to Black Mountain. The grey fog wolf becomes a symbol of the passing of time when the narrator tells it to call to the centuries. This wolf is similar to the wolf in the second stanza in that both are described in abstract, spatial and temporal terms, while the first wolf and the mountain white wolf are both purely physical, realistic beings. The final stanza of the second section brings these two different embodiments, the physical and realistic, and the cosmic or temporal together. In this last stanza, the lean wolf running combines the physical green eyes lean with the abstract miles become faded in time. This last wolf, the one that brings together all of the aspects of the wolf of the poem, becomes a representation of the eternal physicality of nature as it kills a swollen belly elk and startles that animal into eternity. Silka presents the reader with a natural setting, which is particularly cold, harsh winter. A number of wolves journey from the north to the southwest in search of the prey that is scarce in their own habitats. These wolves represent not only the brutality, ferocity, and immorality of nature, but also the cosmic truths of being a living creature in the universe. The natural world dominates the poem. The descriptive words used in the poem draw the reader's attention to qualities in the landscape. Words such as frozen, deep, belly, high, swirling, icy, and howling all call attention to the wintry scenes through which the wolves travel. The wolves are driven to leave their habitat by the particular harshness of the winter of 1973, when their usual prey, turkeys, deer, even elk, become scarce. The poem asks the reader to think about the vicissitudes of nature and especially about the cruelty of nature. Can one consider any natural process cruel? What is more cruel, the weather that forces the wolves from their homes or the wolf that kills the pregnant elk? In the Euro-American tradition, time is something that is measured, parceled out, and used to precisely point out events and occurrences. In much native nature, time is a much more amorphous, fluid entity. This is largely because of the much greater importance that is given to nature. As Silka herself said in an interview with Laura Coltelli, I grew up with people who followed or whose world vision was based on a different way of organizing human experience, natural cycles. Time in nature is not measured with regularity of hours, minutes, and seconds. Rather, it is changing, contingent, dependent upon the seasons. However, in this poem, time is not measured in terms of days. Instead, time here is seen in a much broader context. The wolves represent what has always been, what time does not change. The second wolf explodes grey eyes, dreams of eternity, while the grey fog wolf has traveled for years and calls to the centuries. These wolves remind the narrator what does not change. Native American storytelling generally take place in an unspecified time period very similar to the Euro-American concept of once upon a time. These wolves are representatives of that mythic time. But the poet reminds us of how she exists in both specific and unspecified. This poem takes place exactly in the winter of 1973. The tension between the unspecified mythic time of the wolves and the precise time of the modern American world mirrors the Native American writer's predicament, suspended between two worlds with profoundly different ideas of knowledge and reckoning. The theme of cruelty and violence is closely related to the theme of nature discussed, but this theme can be more specific. The wolf has been almost throughout human history the embodiment of human fears in regions in which the two species have come into contact. The wolf is a fierce resembling both the annoying but rarely dangerous coyote and the friendly dog, but can be an implacable foe of man. The wolf represents the ferocity of nature and the cruelty and violence inherent in the natural world. Like all animals, the wolf must consume life to survive. But unlike most other animals, the wolf will stalk and attack humans, especially among groups of humans who live in close contact to nature or in small isolated societies. The wolf is the most dangerous phase of earth. But the wolf also forces people to confront their own cruelty. For like the wolf, hunt and kill, prey and eat almost any living creature. And whereas some other predatory animals who occasionally confront humans, the lion or the bear, for instance, might overawe humans, the wolf is very similar to a human. It is approximately human size and is almost a match in a fair fight. In the poem, the narrator melds with the wolf near the end. The urge, the dream is always with me, says the narrator, telling the reader that the same violent predatory needs that drive the wolf also drive the human.